Did you push play?
Oh, I thought you were gonna push play.
Okay.
I push play.
I pushed
Oh,
play.
you just push pause.
Hey guys, we are Screen Sisters. Yeah, that's my sister, Stephanie. I am Screen Sis Chris. So we're gonna start with episode 2, the variant of Loki. Stephanie, tell me what you thought.
Oh, actually, I really liked episode 2. I thought it was thought when he went to Pompeii was kind of funny and kind of sad.
Yeah.
Also, I like that we're getting like history lessons because they're traveling back and forth, and notice how when he was talking about the future, Mobius is just like, oh God, nothing but earthquakes and volcanoes and floods, and he's like, it's just one disaster after another, and
Right.
that's what they always say is going to be the end of us because of global warming.
Right.
So I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to see, is she a Loki or is she Sylvie?
She's Sylvie.
Okay, but she said he keeps calling her a Loki variant.
Yeah. Well, if we're sticking specifically with episode 2, then yes, we still don't know exactly who she is yet. So okay. She's still a Loki variant at this point.
Okay. What were your thoughts?
I've got a lot written down.
Okay, so let's do this.
First of all, I like that they opened with a Renaissance fair. I've never been to a Renaissance fair, so I'm assuming that it was pretty spot on what we saw.
Turkey legs.
Just turkey legs.
Turkey legs.
Yeah. And it was also in Oshkosh, so I immediately thought of the kids store, Oshkosh Bagosh, or Kids Line, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, Oshkosh Bagosh. And then she was just straight up murdering the hunters. And I was like, okay.
Oh, when you like, the blink and you miss it, when she stabbed one of them, you see like a little blood come out.
I didn't see any.
Yeah, it's blink and you miss it type thing. You see when she stabs the one, if you like kind of slow it down, you just see like, how when you stab someone, like you stab so many people, right? How when you stab someone,
so many. Mm-hmm.
And you see like it's like blood coming straight out. You see it for like a quick second. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get more like bloody stuff in the next like Marvel. Marvel stuff.
I hope so. That would be cool.
I don't think we've seen anything like too bloody, right? I mean, besides Thanos getting his head cut off.
That wasn't even that bloody.
It was purple too, so you kind of don't even see it. You kind of don't even care.
I think the bloodiest, I can't even, the bloodiest movie at this point might be the first Iron Man when he gets blasted in the chest and the shrapnel spills through onto his shirt. Maybe. I don't know.
Is it?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think we saw in this episode we saw Miss Minutes. She's alive. She's sentient at least.
Yes.
She's a physical being and also adorable.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they're gonna find some way to make her like a kind of like a costume, like to look like a big waffle. Like if you were a waffle costume, like that's what there's gonna be someone at Comic-Con dressed as the giant like waffle.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be cute if they dressed up their kids as Miss Minutes because she's little. Oh, okay. Anywho, I've got a lot of notes here. They're just like all out of order. So I guess I'll just kind of go down the line. When he goes and meets with Renslayer, and they're having a discussion because he wants to do. This is now after Loki's figured out that she might be hiding in an apocalypse, right?
Yeah, apocalypses.
Yeah, hiding in apocalypses. And also, oh, since we're talking about the apocalypse, he was looking up the story of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure people caught that little Easter egg there that showed the code name was Revengers.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that. But I just wanted to say one thing about the Ragnarok thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we to assume that not everybody was off Asgard when Ragnarok happened? Because it said
I don't
that
know.
9,000 people died.
Yeah.
Well, how many people did Thor and Heimdall save? Plus
I think that
plus
might have
the
yeah,
half that Thanos killed.
yeah, I think that might have been encompassing the people that Hela had killed. I'm wondering if they lumped what Hela had done before Ragnarok happened.
The interesting thing about them, about Loki being plucked from 2012, is that he doesn't he has, I mean, now he knows what happened in
Mm-hmm.
Thor 2, Thor 3,
Mm-hmm.
Avengers 3. But this version of him never experienced that pain. So he saw himself kind of become better.
Mm-hmm.
And then also this person never got that experience.
Mm-hmm. So do
This
you
person Loki.
yeah, so do you wonder if this Loki will get that same sort of redemption even here, even though Mobius said he can't offer him redemption? Do you think he could still find that within himself a little bit?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
he's offered any type of, not offered, I mean, if he gets kind of a different arc than we already saw of him.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone already likes Loki. No one really thinks he's a competent villain. He's just everyone just thinks he's the basket case that wants to just, wreak havoc and do things. But he had a mother that he cared about, and he cares about Thor, even though he just he uses his love for Thor
Against or yeah.
against him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think just the fact that when he found out, they weren't his parents when he got older, that clearly shifted perception of who he thought he was. Because not only did he think he was just a trickster with a brother jealousy, it was just he's not even a part of the family he desperately always rivaled with. So he really has no reason to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just him, this part of the series, we're gonna get more, maybe of him trying to understand himself, since he didn't go through what we've already seen of the other films.
Okay. So back to when Mobius goes to the office to meet with Renslayer, everybody's just kind of speculating if Kang is going to be a part of this series or not. So I know everybody was looking up the Franklin Roosevelt high school pen. And the only thing I could pull from it is that it's blue. So that's all I got. It's a blue pen.
But you know what? It could be them.
The pen is Kang.
It's preference. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, guys. So get it here now from Screen Sisters. The blue pen is Kang in disguise.
Yep.
So then after the meeting, Mobius, walks out after telling Renslayer if it doesn't work out, he's gonna delete. Crap, what was his name? From Death Note? Delete.
Light Yagami?
No, not that one. Mikami.
That was the guy at the end, right?
Yeah, Mikami.
That was
I'm pretty sure it was Mikami. So after doing that, then he walks out of the office. He grabs Loki and they're like, okay, we're going to go put a team together. We're going to go find this variant. And I love that shot of when they get to the locker and he takes the he starts to give him back his daggers, and then Hunter B-15 quickly removes them.
And she's great, absolutely great.
Do you think Mobius only said to oh, actually no, this is before. This isn't when they're going to go find the variant in the apocalypse yet. This is when they're going to go look at the scene that she just left at the Oshkosh. Do you think that moment where Mobius like kind of like slips in the information of having an audience with the timekeepers, do you think Mobius intended to uphold that deal, or do you think he was just dropping in something to get Loki's attention and his focus and his commitment to doing this job?
I don't know. Say it better.
Huh?
Say that again and say it better.
I'm sorry. So when they're walking to the lockers to get ready,
Yeah.
he's like something along the lines of, you'll have an audience with the timekeepers. And Loki's like, wait, I get an audience with them? And he's like, and then Mobius says, keep that focus.
Yeah.
So do you think Mobius just said that because he knew that this Loki would want to meet whoever's in charge so he can try to get a leg up on everything? Or do you think he was just
Yeah. I think it was to keep him kind of focused.
but with no intention of delivering?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm just thinking that never mind. Episode 3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to make sure we talk about the proper one. And then then when they're meeting, they're talking about the differences between illusion projecting and duplication casting. Did you know the difference?
No. I never really know like the correct term whenever Loki did his magic in the last in the last 10 years. I'm sorry, illusion projection and duplication casting.
Right.
Yeah, so illusion projection would just be, what did he say? It was like looking at something.
I think the illusion projection.
Like someone sees something, and the other one was changing the way how you see yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think there were actual words for them, but I mean, I didn't really change.
Yeah. I wrote down Scourge, but I don't know why I wrote it down. Is that something? Oh, I know why I wrote it down. Because it made me think of Scourge. Is that his name?
I don't know why. Oh, that's right. It made me think of Scourge.
Was that his name from Ragnarok?
You think so? He has another name too.
Yeah.
Scourge.
Scourge.
Oh, the executioner.
Yeah. But back to what you were saying about him not really having those experiences. I mean, that was very apparent when Mobius tries to give his condolences to the loss of Asgard, and he's like, yeah, very sad. He almost kind of throws away him extending condolences about that.
I mean, maybe he knows that well, I don't know, never mind. I was gonna say maybe he just knows that like the people who matter like made it, but I guess they didn't, because Thor is the only one that made it because Heimdall died. And we don't know anything about Lady Sif. She wasn't in Ragnarok, but she's apparently in Love and Thunder, so clearly she's still alive. And of course, the snap brought everybody back as well. So, but it still doesn't explain where she was for 2017. For that time. So
when they got to the Renaissance Fair, and they are looking at the scene, and B-15 says, okay, spread out, we need to see if the variants nearby, look for the other hunter, look for any clues or anything. And then Loki starts stalling. What was your initial take on that?
I thought he was doing something important.
Okay.
So when I watched it the first time, I thought he was telling the truth, and then up
Mhm,
until Moby, it said like you're wasting time or whatever. I thought he
mhm.
was telling the truth, but when I watched it again, I was just thinking he was just trying to get to the red line, right?
He's trying to make sure that he can go see the timekeepers. But yeah, also
So that's
it
what I got the second time I watched it. He's just waiting for it to get to red line so he could see the timekeepers.
yeah. So it would seem like he was helping, but he was actually just trying to get to the timekeepers. I was thinking that. I was also kind of thinking that maybe he was kind of waiting to see if the variant would show up again. If anything.
Oh, yeah. And then
Mhm,
when he said, I stalled them for you,
mhm, mhm.
do you think that he meant that she, well, now it's a she, did you think it meant he was waiting for her to come back and kill all of them?
Possibly. I mean, if his intention was to wait for her to come back, then yeah, coming back to kill them, him helping, or maybe him stopping her so that they could, you know, run off together or whatever, do whatever he wanted to do. Either of those things were on the table.
Well, what else do you have written down?
We had talked about this already. The dialogue. The dialogue has been really, really good. So kudos to the writers writing some really good dialogue. Yeah, it's got really good flow and cadence to it. It's really beautiful. Oh, I know what I want to say. When he gave him that jacket and he turned around and it said variant on the back, it made me
Hmm.
think of Deadpool uh 2 when he was in X-Men in training. So he had to wear the little mesh top that said training or something on the back.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, that's what it made me think of.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's it. There were did you notice that their uniforms are different, and so the hunters have different uniforms. So like whoever's in charge has an all black, or I guess the level up or something has an all black uniform, but it seems like their subordinates have um two-toned two-toned so that's for Comic Con people out there to figure out which costume you're going to wear.
yeah. Ron this year is going to be all Marvel.
Hmm. Hmm. When they were having that conversation at the table about the timekeepers and how Mobius was created to protect the timeline, and then Loki is saying how it sounds ridiculous what he does to protect this this intangible thing that affects all of us by three beings, that no, we seem, seemingly no one there has ever actually met. And then for Mobius to say that, you come from frost giants and live on Asgard in a golden
Hmm.
city, like I like that conversation because it speaks to our existence and how trying to make sense of just the simplicity of living, how ridiculous it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing too. When
Mhm.
whenever you're thinking about something and you just feel, when you actually think about anything too long, it's always just like,
It falls apart.
yeah,
It falls apart, which, I mean, it applies to anything. It applies to anything. If you think about anything for too long, it falls apart. So moving on in the story, so after they're doing their recon at Oshkosh, Loki stalls because he wants to meet the timekeepers. They come back. So Mobius makes him go do research on, all of the events, trying to figure out, what's happening. And Loki, of course, tries to find out information about the timekeepers themselves, and
hmm,
everything is classified about the timekeepers. So the place where the TVA is meant to protect the sacred timeline, yet Loki doesn't have access to the beginning of time, the end of time, right? Does that seem like something that would be a classified to everyone? Do you think it's classified for even the people who work at the TVA?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm after watching episode 3,
Mhm.
I think a new theory now, which I will wait till we talk about episode 3. But
Okay.
also, yes.
And also, yeah. So Loki, goes to work. He starts looking through the events and he figures out that the variant is hiding in apocalypses, naturally occurring events that leave no survivors. And so that brings us to um, the next set piece, really, which is Rock's cart, which we can
Mhm.
assume is an extension of Rock's on. And
And why
Rock's
not like Smart?
Rock's
Like
Mart.
Walmart, Kmart.
Yeah.
Why not Rock Smart? Why Rock Smart? Okay, done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Rock's
Which
house.
I mean, I kind of love that they showed Rock's cart because it's not it's so like just skirting around Amazon, because like Amazon is this sort of like thing that just kind of grew and grew and grew, and it has its own stores, and I think
And
I've
they're all
seen.
automated and they're robots, and you
Yeah,
can't even. There's no one even there.
right, right. So it's just interesting, that there's that connection there. So they get to Rock's cart, and their Rock's cart is actually a like a disaster sort of facility. So people from the surrounding areas are actually inside trying to ride out a hurricane, a
Mhm.
tsunami that's about to hit and wipe everybody out, unbeknownst to them. So the
Mhm.
TVA shows up looking for the variant, and they actually find her. They find the variant there, and Loki and Hunter B-15 find her first, sort of. When we finally see her character, and he's still trying to ask her like what she wants, she only says it's not about you. And it made me immediately think of Doctor Strange when the Ancient One is at the hospital and she's doing her astral projection, and Doctor Strange follows her. She tells him, it's not about you, because he himself had been like a very close-minded, but also he was just a human, so his world was small to begin with.
Mhm.
And then to now give that same line to Loki, who has lived in some sense a fantastical life, he still has lived a very closed, small life compared to the larger scope that is the MCU, or what it will become. So I like that that line was there, that it's not about you, because it just made me think of that moment in Doctor Strange, and how everything going into Phase 4 is just giving us stuff that we hadn't thought we'd want
Yeah,
to see on screen.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was how I first felt when I watched Age of Ultron,
Hmm. Hmm.
when Vision showed up,
Hmm.
because I was not expecting
Hmm.
Vision. And it's like whenever you think about, and read about Ultron, you're just like, well, of course,
Hmm.
Vision. Like, of course, that's the next thing. But when it came down to the story, I was just like, I was not expecting this. Like, I wasn't expecting Vision at all.
Hmm.
So I think, like you said, there's just so many unthought of things happening. And then with WandaVision too, and then going to Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think both both of them were kind of grounded in reality,
Hmm.
because the reality of WandaVision was she needed to grieve the loss of, the person she loved. And then with the reality of Falcon and Winter Soldier was Bucky's 106 years old, and still alive, and he has to deal with all the stuff that he's done. And same with Sam, he had to deal with the fact that he wasn't alive for 5 years, missed lots of things, and then coming back and just having to be like a normal of like American citizen
Mhm.
in America, and also when you factor in all the race stuff, and then adding the Captain America line, so it's just mostly all this is reality. So I think
Mhm.
with Loki is it's also reality, but we're the stuff that's happening is kind of stuff we haven't seen before.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it'll be lots of new things, I think, for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah.
Also, did you see that Tom Hiddleston said that after episode 3, the show takes a crazy turn.
No.
So
Is this one of those? Is this one of those Paul Bettany? I can't wait to work with this actor. I've never. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Completely different show. Completely different storyline.
could be though.
Um, so I do have a question for you. I wrote
Okay.
this down. If Hela, if Hela had stuck around, let's say Hela and Odin never had a falling out.
Okay.
Everything still goes. Like Odin still goes to the to Jotunheim. He finds Loki. They raise him as his own. Go ahead.
Pause.
Hmm.
Was Hela alive when he found Loki? I mean, not alive, but
Free. Was
yeah,
she there? She might have been
yeah.
there. Yeah, she would have been there because she knew. Wait, did she know who he was when in Ragnarok? She knew who he was.
I don't know.
Yeah, she said you look. She said you don't look like him, but you sound like him.
Yeah.
She knew who he was, which means she probably was there. I would think she was there. But what I was going to say was, so yes, everything happens. They went to Jotunheim, got Loki, brought him back, raised him as his own. Do you think if the trio of his children had stayed together, do you think they would all still be blindly like kind of following Odin, like they had kept on their mission to take over all of the realms because she said he was supposed to take over all of the realms, not just stop at 9. We don't know how many realms there are, at least to the MCU. But do you think they all would have kept following him? And then the other side to that is, do you think Loki would have been the one to inevitably break away from them?
That's a good question. If we were seeing any type of bloodlust that we got from Hela,
Mm-hmm.
they probably would have both just killed Thor.
You think they would have killed Thor? Because I'm thinking only of not the Thor we have now, but the Thor we had in 2011. Because Thor in 2011 was just like, all I want is to fight. That's all I want, just to fight and rule. So you have Odin.
But you're not king. Yeah.
You have Odin who never stopped conquering realms. You have
Mhm.
Hela who loves it. You have Thor who loves it. Loki wanted to conquer people, but not for the same reasons as they did, from what we can tell. He only did it to prove himself, right? Because he always kind of felt like he didn't belong. So do you think he would have been the one to break away from them and maybe even turn against them? Or do you think it's too convoluted and there's too many layers to even try to dissect right now?
Yeah, I think it might be too soon to tell.
Yeah.
We still have 3 episodes left, and then
Mhm.
quote unquote, we're still getting his. Well, I was gonna say the second season, but we're still getting to know this, like the 2012 version of him.
Mhm.
So that, like I said before, hasn't experienced everything yet. So I think Hella. I just keep seeing, Hella is this like bloodthirsty person.
Mhm.
So I think the fact that she was a murderer just made her secure in her leadership.
Okay.
So
Because that was the other reason I wanted to ask that question is because when Mobius shows Loki how he's behaving in 2012 Avengers, Loki's looking away. So he's telling Loki he doesn't like hurting people, and Loki knows it.
yeah.
So that's why I think,
Oh,
and that's why I wanted to ask that question because I think if we're just exploring their whole family dynamic, had Helen never been imprisoned up until 2012-ish, Loki is showing signs that he doesn't actually like hurting people. Would he have been the one to kind of break away from, maybe run away with his mother? I don't know. Run away with Frigga.
Now that I'm thinking about what you said, that could be an interesting statement. I mean, interesting, like, difference.
Yeah. The other thing is at Rock's heart, he uses telekinesis to pull that Roomba.
Magic.
We've never seen that, but I was happy to see it. I love when we get to see new power sets from people. I don't know. I like it. I feel like there was one more thing. Oh, when you were talking about Pompeii, and they wanted to test their theory to see if you could make a ruckus being a variant in a timeline, in a apocalypse, would that peak, would that show up on the sacred timeline? And when he was testing his theory, he was like, nothing matters, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Because it made me feel awkward. because like those people were going to die, but he's like celebrating and like throwing stuff around. And is it funny to look at that, knowing that you don't have to stay there to die as well?
I don't know.
I'm sure it was it was a moment. It was a moment that was played for laughs, but like I felt awkward laughing about it because people actually died. Or I guess it would be like watching a satirical thing, like.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Everything you had written down?
Sacred timeline. Yeah, I was definitely not expecting the sacred timeline to be destroyed so soon, which I think I said in another video that I haven't posted yet that I'm working on. So you guys should keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be exploded so soon. I definitely thought it was something that was going to happen at least at the end of episode 4, and then to just kind of see where it goes leading into the the final 2 episodes. But I like that it happened so soon, because we have these remaining episodes to kind of take a look at what's happening in other places. I would assume if they're gonna show us a little bit more of the bigger world that they are setting up for us.
Yeah, of course, because like the bombing happened episode 2, so I'm just assuming that we were going to get the rest of the series of them trying to readjust, but now I don't think that's going to happen at all.
I think it was
episode 3.
Yeah, I think it was too many. Did you see Fallen?
No.
But you know about the reference that people were talking about? Okay.
And by people, I mean, I just think someone posted a scene of him and the it looked like a police station. Someone posted a scene. I think I watched like 30 seconds of it, and I was like, okay, but I'd rather watch the whole film.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I used to watch that movie when I was little, but I haven't seen it since. But it's on my mind like every few months. Like I want to see it every few months. I just never seem to find it. Like
on a Black Lady sketch show, they brought up they did this thing saying Denzel Washington won an Academy Award for Fences, correct? And one of the questions was, Denzel Washington won an Academy Award for Fences, but what movie should he have won an Academy Award for? So they start naming like his entire catalog for like the last 30 years. And I was like, I forgot all about that movie. And I don't remember if any of them did say Fallen, but I'm pretty sure, I think one of them did. And that was the last time I thought about it. And that was like 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, last week's episode. So now, like you said, it's like on your mind. Now it's kind of sort of on my mind too. And I still haven't seen it.
One of the things I also wanted to say was, I guess somebody somewhere counted how many bombs they saw, how many time bombs they found. And they found 42, but you don't know about that, do you? Have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Well, you remember at the beginning of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it shows the number 42. That was his lottery number, but it also sort of It's like a poke at Hitchhiker's Guide to the
A poke
Galaxy.
at what? Okay.
Sorry, I was getting there. Okay, I think that's all I have for episode 2. It's been 1 week since you looked at me, and sorry, it's been at least 40 minutes, as I forgot to hit how many. I did want to say, okay, so this is just probably either this is a thing that they just kind of intended for it to be a throwaway line to not be thought about too much. But when Mobius is talking to the group before they go to, I think it's Oshkosh, before they go to Oshkosh, he's talking about the different things that Loki can do. And that's when Loki makes the distinction between illusion projection and duplication casting. When Mobius is talking, he's like, illusion projecting, and then he says, and my favorite, and he gets cut off because Loki starts talking. So I'm wondering what that other thing was that was his favorite. That was Mobius's favorite. That other thing that Loki can do, that was his favorite. So I don't know. I'm just wondering if we'll see that. That's it for this recap, review, jokes, and stuff.
Okay, well, thanks for watching our video. We're weird, and we will do episode 3 right after this.
Bye.